How's it going, everybody? This is Cameron White with White Light Astrology, giving you guys your weekend forecast of what the heck is going on in the universe this weekend. We're going into a really big week next week, and a lot of what's going to be happening this weekend is going to be setting us up for next week. And next week we got a full moon starting right off the bat on Monday, and then we got Mercury retrograde, Venus going direct, a whole bunch of other things. However, starting on Friday, we're going to have the moon going over the North Node into Virgo. And as the moon's going over the North Node into Virgo, this is going to be a big look at what are the tiny things that I need to fix, that I need to clean up and clear out, that I need to heal myself with in order to go in the direction that I want to go in. As Saturn retrogrades, this is a big, it just retrograded today. I'm shooting this on Thursday. However, today as Saturn went retrograde, it was a big show on what our limits and restrictions are. Saturn's going to be giving us a lot of good karmic energy, a lot of blessings with how far we did push ourselves since about December of 2015 until about now. It's going to be giving us rewards. It's going to be pushing us to keep going farther. However, it's also going to be showing us what our true limits are and what are we holding ourselves back with. And it's going to be doing that through a lot of karmic different ways. So be really prepared for that. Coming up for April till August, as Saturn retrogrades, it's going to be both this good and this bad, as far as good being with what you've done as far as pushing your limits and having a vision and just expanding yourself on everything that you can. You will be really blessed and rewarded with that. However, the things that you've ignored and the things that you've neglected, the things that you've been in resistance to, is what Saturn's really going to bring your awareness to. As Saturn's in Sagittarius, it's only focused on one thing, on going one place. However, with the moon going into Virgo on Friday, it's going to be a look at all these tiny things that you haven't been paying attention to, and it's going to be an accumulation of that. However, you need to use this energy to heal yourself. You know, what do you need to fix? What do you need to work on? Getting all these tiny things together. It is going to be trining the sun still. So this is going to be a big highlight on self, and it's also going to be trining Saturn. So Saturn's wanting you to go in this direction of healing yourself, getting the tiny things done. As the North Node is still in Virgo, it's going to be moving into Leo around May. However, as it's still in Virgo, it's about really getting down to the facts of what are the tiny things I need to clear up, how can I fix myself, and how can I heal myself, and what do I got to do every day in order to get that. The moon will also be opposing Neptune as well, and it's going to be a big push and pull between, I want to get all this stuff done, I need to fix everything while I can. You can have a lot of nervous energy, and then Neptune's just going to be like, well, dude, just fuck it, don't even pay attention to it, you know, go hang out, go party, just disassociate from it, and you know, just be where you are. And I suggest not going into that. As with Neptune and Pisces, it's really good for a lot of spiritual things. It's really good for finding yourself and getting into that spiritual alignment that we've been talking about. However, as the moon is going over the North Node, it's wanting you to be like, hey dude, let's look at the facts. Let's look at what the big picture is, what the real deal is, and start working from there. With Saturn and Sagittarius being this whole theme, it's just been like, I gotta go somewhere, I gotta fix something, I gotta move on to a bigger vision, a bigger dream. And when the moon goes into Virgo, it's like, okay, what are the tiny things that you've been ignoring in order to fulfill that? Because now it's time to focus on those and to bring those to light and to start healing yourself with what you've been ignoring and what you've been in resistance to. On Saturday, we're going to have a grand Earth trine. The moon will still be in Virgo, however, it'll be trining Mars and it'll be trining Pluto. This is the time to go, okay, I know what all these tiny things are. I know how I could heal myself. How can I put it into action? With this Pluto and Capricorn energy, our foundation is still rocking around everywhere. It's still shifting. It's kind of like a construction zone. They're still working on the foundation, still turning up all the dirt, all putting the cement in, all that kind of stuff. And on Saturday, as there's this grand Earth trine, it's time to make something. It's time to actually pour the concrete. It's time to, all right, let's lay the foundation out. Let's set ourselves up now so we can have a successful future, so we can actually put a building on top of here and grow something out of it, you know? It's like the skyscrapers in New York City. It's not like they can just build this magnificent building just like out of nothing. They have to make sure the foundation is strong and secure. And with this moon and Virgo going over the North Node, it's going to be like, all right, let's get these tiny things all wrapped up. Let's get it all fixed and figured out right now so we can have this foundation, so we can move forward with the dream that we want to build. The moon will be squaring Saturn on Saturday, and it will be opposed Venus and Chiron. As the moon squares Saturn, Friday is going to be the best day to get all the tiny things figured out, figure out what it's going to do to heal yourself. However, on Saturday, don't get wrapped up in the tiny things. Just become aware of them. do something progressive towards doing it. However, don't get wrapped up in the tiny details of things. Don't go, you know, if you're doing some healing work on yourself, don't get wrapped up in the tiny little insecurity or the tiny little fault that you have within yourself, and just go, okay, I'm aware of it, I'm aware of the big picture, let me just start working on it now. Even though you don't have all the answers, even though you're not sure exactly what's going on, it's time to move forward with it. And you'll learn more about what it is that you need to fix and all these tiny little details on the way. It's kind of like, you know, when it's like building a skyscraper, you know, you don't always know what the problem's gonna be, but you gotta keep going in order to figure out what that problem's gonna be and what the solution is to fix it. And with the moon also opposing Venus and Chiron, it's gonna be really difficult for people to not get wrapped up in their heads about this whole relationship stuff. With Venus, it's gonna be stationing basically at about 27 degrees Pisces this whole week, and then it'll hit 26 degrees Pisces going direct over Chiron. However, with the moon opposing it, it's like you could still get really lost in, you're like, okay, I got all these tiny things fixed, I got it all figured out, I'm good to go, but what about what I don't know if I want this. And the same thing with relationships. It's a big relationship thing right now, especially because Saturn just went retrograde on top of the Venus retrograde. They're squaring right now. With that being said, you have to remember what this Venus retrograde is all about. And as it's in Pisces, it's all about tuning into your higher self, tuning into what you like, what your spirit wants, what your higher self wants, what you know that you're worth, what you know that you deserve. And it's not about knowing how to get it. It's about just learning to receive it. Pisces isn't, you know, this energy. It's not like, you know, Aries or Taurus where it could just go out and it could manifest, you know, exactly what it wants. Pisces has to be spiritually aligned with who they are and what they know that they are in order to receive the gifts that they want. And as Venus is here squaring Saturn, that's going to be a big emphasis on the 4 months of making sure that you're in alignment, that you are spiritually in tune with what you want, what you desire, especially with money, relationships. If you're an artist of any type, you got to start looking down deep of, you know, what, it's not about, you know, how it looks, it's about what feeling it creates. And with the moon opposing this on Saturday, don't get too lost in the tiny details of it, and you got to be able to let it go. If you want it bad enough, you got to be able to let it go, knowing that it'll come to you. And as you're healing yourself and you're working on this, start looking at the little tiny things of what your emotions are bringing up. You know, if you have a big relationship issue that you're going through right now, or you want something different in your relationship or your love life or anything like that, start picking apart the tiny things, not necessarily like blah, 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 like, you know, getting really, you know, mad and specific, because Sun is conjuncting Uranus. Starting from now till next week, things are going to get really intense. With the Sun conjuncting Uranus, things are going to blow up in your face and out of proportion. However, excuse me, get more detailed on what it is that you want to change. What do you want to fix? What do you want to heal? What about this stuff with relationships? And start going in that direction. And this is going to start setting us up for the full moon in Libra, which is going to be all about relationships. It's going to be a big look at relationships and self, and that and how that energy works, about, you know, like, what do you want, what are your desires, what are your wants, and how can you work with other people getting that and creating a win-win situation. So with this week, be very don't get too analytical. Don't dive down deep into all your insecurities and your problems and how everything's not right, and just become aware of all the things that you do want to fix and start making actions to fix it. Even though you may not have all the answers, you may not have the exact solution, it's just about taking that first step forward and going towards it. And that's going to be what's going to help you out for the next 4 months with this Saturn retrograde. The Saturn retrograde, it's a mixture of good, and I don't want to say bad. I don't really believe in bad energy. It's about whatever you want to create out of it. However, if you feel a lot of negative tension with this Saturn retrograde, use it for your growth. Use it to push yourself beyond the limits that you really thought you could. With Saturn and Sagittarius, that's what it's about. It's about pushing you. Saturn is teaching you the lesson that you are capable of more than what you think, and you are capable of expanding and growing even if you don't think you can handle more than what's on your plate right now. You're capable of achieving more, going for more, exploring more, feeling more. And as it retrogrades, be mindful of where that's showing up in your life as far as what is restricting you, what is limiting you. And start working on that. Start seeing what the tiny things are and start doing something different. If you want to change an outcome or produce a different result, you have to change the actions that you take on it. It's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And you guys don't want to go insane this week, especially with the moon in Virgo. You could definitely start, you know, just freaking out over the little things. However, take it all in for what it is and become very aware of it. Realize what you can do in this moment in order to progress yourself and to heal yourself and to get everything in order. And next week's when the challenge is going to come. It's kind of like, you know, you can have that anxiety. I mean, I'm not a Marine or anything. However, I can imagine if you're going into war, it's kind of like, I'm all prepared, I got everything ready together, or I got everything together, and then you can all of a sudden think like, wait, do I need this? How am I going to do that? And start thinking of all these little situations. However, it's not about that. It's about, you know, I don't know what answers I have. I don't know, you know, what the answer is going to be. I'll figure it out when I cross that bridge. However, be prepared, because next week it's going to be, next week's going to be a lot of good and a lot of new energy. I'll put it to you that way. It's going to be a big step forward and a big, you're basically going to be switching lanes. You'll be changing lanes, but you'll be moving. It's kind of like in traffic. You're stuck in traffic right now. Just move into another lane. You're still stuck, but at least you're moving forward a little bit more. And, you know, it's still going to be back and forth. Next week's going to be interesting, guys, just for this weekend. Really work on what it is that you need to do to heal yourself, and being able to let go of the situation of what you want with relationships. And you just got to be able to let go of it to get more in tune with who you are. Like, what do you want? What is right for you? What's right for your soul? What, at the end of the day, if you were about to die, what would you want? That's the kind of energy this really is like, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what your true feelings are and where you want to go. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching it. I really appreciate all of you guys. Subscribe to me on my YouTube. I super appreciate it. Once I get 100 subscribers, I can finally get a custom link. So if you subscribe to me, I would appreciate you even more. Follow me on Twitter at White Light Cam, or Facebook and Instagram at White Light Astrology. I love keeping up with you guys. If you're interested in purchasing a reading from me, I have my prices all up on my social media. So I really appreciate you guys, and have fun this weekend. Definitely take your time out this week and sort your stuff out, get your shit handled, get it figured out, become aware of everything, stop being distracted, stop not looking at the big picture and all the tiny things at the same time. Bring them both into play and get ready for next week. Next week's gonna be crazy. So I will be seeing you next week.